All right, so let's jump right in and take a look at this 1513 pattern. It's not exactly earth-shattering. Some of you watching this probably have already observed it before and maybe noted that and maybe use it. But anyway, hopefully everyone watching this will find something interesting or useful. So let's take a look here. So on this slide, so here's the pattern as you can see in what I'm calling the three primary shapes. And notice I didn't say five shapes, and we all know that there are five shapes in the caged system. But for me, when it comes to looking at the triads that are inside these shapes, um, let's go to this slide. I see it like the A and the G shape are basically the same, and the C and the D shape are also basically the same. So we're going to focus on the D shape, A shape, and E shape. But honestly, I won't spend a lot of time on the triad inside the E shape because honestly, I don't use that little triad much as a triad. I guess one reason is it's kind of in a lower register, on the guitar, and I'm not sure why else. I'm sure some pro musicians use the heck out of it in ways that I'm not aware of or haven't thought of. So, but anyway, now that's not to say that I don't utilize this in some way. As a matter of fact, I tend to anchor off of these two notes a lot, and I'll show that. I'll show that later. Um, so anyway, let's take a look. This is a good slide to show how the A and the G shape, they really basically share the same triad. You just got a couple of notes fretted in front of the triad and then a couple of notes behind the triad. So let's see if we can, let me just draw a little circle around what's pretty much the G chord. So right here, of course, this 5 would be optional. This fretted note, the 5th here, would be optional. This is, if we were playing this as an actual open G chord rather than the D chord that we're looking at. In the open position, this would be that G chord. And then, as you might note, I'm missing something, so I would need to kind of draw a circle around here. And you can kind of see it in the background. That's the 3. So that would be the 3rd. And then we have the 5-1-3. So you can see, uh, let's see, here is my arrows back. So we've got the A shape here, and just playing that A shape here for a D chord based on the root on the 5th string and that 5th there on the high E. So then if we were to try to play that G chord as you see it there, I honestly never ever try to even play that because it's so beyond difficult to try to span your fingers and hold down these notes 2 frets apart here. Holding, you have to bar this. You'd have to, yeah. So it's quite a stretch, and I really just don't enjoy that at all. So, um, but it is good to know, that the where this stuff is. So, and of course we have a D shape here. We got an E shape up here, but let me move on. So I've been showing a D chord in these shapes, so we can see them all separately. As you notice, there's really no overlap. If I leave it drawn just the way it is, there's no overlap between any of these chords. You might already kind of see how they kind of maybe connect to each other, but let's go to the next slide here. And so now we're looking at a G chord. Same shapes, but now we can see the E shape, at least in this case, rather than to show it way up higher on the fretboard. I've got it down here in this position. Okay, and you notice that this shape now, this E shape, does overlap with this D shape here, and it's with the 1 note. So this would be, an open position D would look like this, right? And then we bring it up here further up the fretboard where we've got this triad. And then if we were going to play the 1 note, it would be right there. Also rather difficult to fret if you can kind of see what I mean. So I also, that's not one that I really tend to fret the whole chord using the one down here. But anyway, we can see the connection there. And let's take a look at one more slide. Now let's just add another note. Okay, so we got the same slide here, but look what I did. I added a 3 here. And then I circled this 1 because if we were to, let's just do it. Let's draw this. Here is a C chord, or a C shape. It's not a C chord, it's a G chord. But it's with a C shape. So the way to hold this guy down is going to be fretting and then playing that. So I'm playing this D shape, you know, but rather than this, bar it with the index. And then this one's slightly awkward, but it's not that bad actually. And I don't tend to have this pinky down much. But anyway, that's a C-shaped G chord. Okay, and now we can also see some overlap here. You're probably seeing, well, of course you're seeing it because you're watching this. But here we have the A shape of the G chord. And we can see that we've got that overlap, this one right here. So what do we want to talk about next? So these overlaps are important, but they exist, obviously, and so I think it's important to acknowledge them, but I don't want to like focus on them, and it's not like you have to memorize every possible branch and connection and extension on every one of these shapes. There's some simpler things to just, I think, focus on and concentrate on. So let's look at another one here. Okay, so we're going to just focus on these two shapes. I suppose really it's 3 shapes because I want to show both the C and the D shape, and how they're kind of just extensions off the same triad. So if we look at just this section here, okay, that's not part of the. This is technically part of the C shape, right? It's that the root on the 5th string, but this is really part of the D shape. But if we just look at it here, so again, this is a G chord up on the 8th fret here, and here's that 1 right here. Actually, is the 1, and we see the 3 up here, and there's the triad, right? Okay, so the thing that I kind of forgot to mention here is you know, the kind of the point of this video primarily is we got 5 1 3. So no matter the shape, whether it's straight lined like this one with the A shape, or whether it's, you know, offset a little bit because of that B string, it's still 5 1 3. So whenever we think about these two shapes, and they can and should be used all over the neck. So whatever key you might be in, you know, you could choose to play your chord with whatever the right shape is for either the right tonal you know, properties that you're looking for, or attributes, or whatever it might be. So 5 1 3 is good to know. It's really good to know. So what I'm going to do here is remember the 1. I really went up to the 5, didn't I? Because it's 5 1 3. Nice G. Little double stop. And what we can also do, okay, so let's get back to my notes here. I want to make sure that I stay on track. So now you can see there's that triad, and you have this 1 2 3. Very simple lick, but it's kind of cool. even if you don't do this, although that sounds pretty good. Now let's do the same thing with the A shape, which is right, still in a G. And notice I've got this one, so over here, this one doesn't really belong with the, it does belong with the A shape, but I'm kind of looking at inverted. This right here is what we call an inverted A shape, or yes, an inverted A shape. So the reason is because with an inverted chord, first inversion means that the third is the bass note or the lowest note of the chord. If it was a second inversion, there would be the fifth, the five would be on the bottom, like this. I don't have any examples of that I'm going to show. Um, but there are examples. So this is an inverted A shape. This would be a normal A shape, of course, if you had the 5 up here. But what I just want to show is the same thing we just did with the C and D shape. So it's really cool. So it's just 1, 2, 3. So of course I slide on. So many cool things you can do with that. If you notice, when I bend this, kind of a country type of thing, what I'm doing when I hit these two, you can see they are just part of the E shape. Really hard to hold down this chord, this big chord here, to try to hold it down up here, but that's what that chord is. And that's the 5 and the 1. Right, so if I go back and do this again, so all I did was just bend that string up, which kind of goes up to the major third. So keeping in mind, remember 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, same thing. So here's some other stuff that can be helpful. So let's think about this for a minute with this shape. If this is the one, which it is, then, and I know, you know, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, right? So that the intervals of the major scale, and really all I'm playing is all major here, mostly major pentatonic. So if this is the one, that means 2, 3, and a half step to the 4. So let's, so if we know about this, we know this is the 5. 5, whole step to the 6, whole step to the 7, half step. We're basically back up to the 1, right? And if we look at that A shape, that's the 1. Of course, we already know it because that's the G string and we're 12 frets up. But and here, let's do this. So here again, we're here. This is the 3, right? So I know that it's a half step to the 4. So if I'm on the 3, I know it's a half step. So I'm really playing a lot of the major scale, picking up some of the major scale notes, even though I'm mostly playing major pentatonic here. So let's show another one. So I've shown, you know, these double stops. So let's take this here. We kind of did that one. So here, there's our triad, 5, 1, 3, right? If we add a few major notes, so rather than, that would be pure pentatonic, but let's add a couple of major notes. I keep doing that. And these are just really simple. So this might sound familiar. Let's see if I can pull this up. You should recognize that. Is that knocking on heaven's door? Just a real simple part of one of the little solos that they do there. So it's all right from the ship, but bending that up, playing that little major. Very cool, very cool. So let's move on. Let's play. Okay, so here's something that's also very cool. Now, going back to this triad here. So I'm going to play this inverted shape of it, and I'll show also. I don't think I should. That's a real common thing to do here as well. So anyway, here I am playing the inverted shape of this, and what I want to point out here is that this is the 3 and this is the 1, right? So if I just do some double stops, we're just using 2 fingers, holding that 3 down and the 1, and remember, once we realize wherever, this shape would be an E chord, this would be an F, this is a G, right? This is going to be an A. I mean, obviously, we can play in any key, we can use these triads. And so, going back to this is the G, and I'm just going to pick these 2, and I'm going to change my fingers. This is just chord melody. So I'm playing stacked 6, I think is what they call them. Playing stacked 6, and I'm just playing chord melody. So let's just clean this up a little more. So I'm just playing a piece of the chord, and I'm playing, the flavor notes, the 3 and the 1. And so what chord melody is, I have a lesson I did quite a long time ago, so it may not be the best production, but I did a lesson on double stop, these kinds of double stops within the chord melody. And so if you don't know, all it is when we take the G chord, all of the chords that belong in the key of G are the G major, right? And then the A minor and the B minor, right? And then the C major, the D major, and then what do we have? The F sharp actually would be diminished, right? And then it would be back up to the G. So when we're only playing the 3 and the 1, we don't really have to worry about the 5th. So that diminished chord really doesn't matter to us. It's pretty much like major and minor. So this is our 1 chord. Back here. That was incorrect. This is our 1. If we go up, that's effectively an A minor, B minor, C major, right? We just keep going up. It's beautiful. And so we can also take and do these, I won't spend much time on it, but we can take the A shape. And what do we have here, right? So we got a 1 and a 3 are here. And we can do chord melody with that. I'm going to skip over that right now. For me, I mostly enjoy. Really enjoy using those. So I want to show something else. So here's another one. So we can create That's a sus chord because we're playing, remember this is the 3 and this is the 4. So if we take just like down here, that's a D sus4. Well, this is a G sus4. So if we take that sus and, okay, there's a song called El Cerrito Place, and it's a really cool song. So it is in the key of E. So we're going to kind of shift here a little bit. So in the key of E, it's like, that's not an echo. We can play it up here. So we have E, and then it goes to A, right? So you could go, I could go A up there, I could go A down here. So this song is really interesting. It just simply goes from E to A, the 1 and the 4 in the key of E. You got the 1 chord and the 4 chord, and it just keeps going back and forth between them, which you would think would get really boring, but it's such a great song. If you've never heard it, look it up. The one I listen to mostly is Kenny Chesney, but the guy who wrote it, I forgot his name. Um, I've heard him play it, perform it, and I've heard another guy, Charlie Robinson. It's just a great song, no matter who's performing it. So what's kind of interesting is, clean it up a little more, is, it just goes, all these pretty people upon El Cerrito Place, they all got something in their pockets, all got something on their face. Well, I'm not a singer, obviously, but I wanted to get the idea of just the melody. So the deal was, me and a friend of mine were jamming over the song, just kind of playing some subtle stuff over it. And so I was trying to think of some light things to do, during quiet parts of the song. And just, it really does just go like this. And so I came up with something, there's other instruments playing, and I don't want to step on, muddy things up, so I just wanted to see what can I do that is just really simple but effective, and it just moves from the A to the E. So this is an E chord in the A shape, right? And we have the 5, 1, 3. So if I just play these two notes, just these two, I'm just kind of borrowing, but I'm not picking that string. So if I play those, that's an E, right? And then if I just, this is like a sus, right? If we say this is an E, that is putting a sus4 on top of the E. And so as it turns out, if I just play these two notes and play that, that's the A chord. So here I have the E chord, A chord. And we're talking like almost no movement, right? One finger fretting one string to distinguish between an A chord and an E chord, the 1, the root, and the A. And so it's so simple, which you've probably already seen, but the 1 and the 3 definitely are calling out that is an E. There's no question. And this is our shape, 5, 1, 3. So we're playing the 1 and the 3. And then here, this shape for an A, right? Remember G was down here. That's an A, right? So what we're doing there, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, right? So this was the A shape. Wrong. It's true. The A shape of the E chord. That plays an E chord. And then if I just put this on, I'm really just taking the 5 and the 1 out of the D shape for the A chord. So it's so simple that I can. So anyway, I thought it was really cool. Let's see. I think now here's one other thing that I want to show. I hope that I'm gonna turn it up, give it a little more volume. I hope that it's been beneficial so far. I do want to just show this one last thing. So, and I'm going to pick. I meant to move to a different slide. Yeah, Yeah, this is the one. So this one really kind of simplifies things a lot. So here's the triad. Again, we're still in G. I love to play in G a lot. And so here's the triad here. Here's the A-shaped triad. You know, I am showing the 5 here just because it's kind of relevant, but not a whole lot on what I'll show you here. I think I've already shown this a bit where we just like so here's the G. Here's a G. So and I think just these simple little licks to do when I keep, and I'm always keeping in mind that my anchor is this shape. It really is, you know. And I can add in these little. Okay, so let's go down to. I'm not showing it. Let's see. Here we go. Let me erase this. Let me erase all that ink. Okay, so on this one, these two notes. So you see, I mentioned earlier that I anchor off of them, like I don't really play this this triad. I really don't utilize it. Maybe I should, but I do play off of these. So listen to this. So that's fun. We're hammering that off of the 5, hammering and hitting the 1. Sounds beautiful. If we do the same thing here, remember this is 5, this is 1, so same exact thing. Honestly, it's the same thing. And then if we take, you know, the A shape, let's do. Is that a good one? Is that a decent one? Maybe show this one. Yeah, this is better. I like this because the A shape of the D chord is not way up here like it is for a G. So 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 on this A shape, 5, 1, 3. The same riff. So anyway, I think I messed up a little bit there. I think that is pretty much what I wanted to show. I hope that anyone who stuck with it all the way through here to the end enjoyed and got something out of it. Thanks for watching.